Namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jayamudiraye nastapraya varishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatuktam shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. So today we're continuing Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 10, Dhruva Maharaj's fight with the Yakshas, verse 1 to 10. Text 1. The great sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, thereafter Dhruva Maharaj married the daughter of Prajapati, Shishumara, whose name was Brahmi, and two sons named Kalpa and Vatsara were born of her." Text 2. The greatly powerful Dhruva Maharaj had another wife named Ila, who was the daughter of the demigod Vayu. By her he begot a son named Utkala and a very beautiful daughter. Text 3. Dhruva Maharaj's younger brother Uttama, who was still unmarried, once went on a hunting excursion and was killed by a powerful yaksha in the Himalaya mountains. Along with him, his mother Saruchi also followed the path of her son. She died. Text 4. When Dhruva Maharaj heard of the killing of his brother Uttama by the yakshas in the Himalaya mountains, being overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, he got on his chariot and went out for victory over the city of the Yakshas, Alakapuri. Text 5. Dhruva Maharaj went to the northern direction of the Himalayan range. In a valley, he saw a city full of ghostly persons who were followers of Lord Shiva. Text 6. Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj reached Alakapuri, he immediately blew his conch shell, and the sound reverberated throughout the entire sky in every direction. The wives of the Yakshas became very much frightened. From their eyes, it was apparent that they were full of anxiety." Text 7. O hero Vidura, the greatly powerful heroes of the Yakshas, unable to tolerate the resounding vibration of the conch shell of Dhruva Maharaj, came forth from their city with weapons and attacked Dhruva. Text 8. Dhruva Maharaj, who was a great charioteer and certainly a great bowman also, immediately began to kill them by simultaneously discharging arrows 3 at a time. Text 9. When the heroes of the Yakshas saw that all their heads were being thus threatened by Dhruva Maharaj, they could very easily understand their awkward position, and they concluded that they would certainly be defeated. But as heroes, they laud the action of Dhruva. Text 10. Just like serpents, who cannot tolerate being trampled by anyone's feet, the Yakshas, being intolerant of the wonderful prowess of Dhruva Maharaj, threw twice as many arrows, 6 from each of their soldiers, and thus they valiantly exhibited their prowess. So I'll stop here, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rukmini Mate. Hare Krishna. Yeah, when you're ready, Sri Krishna Prabhu, you can go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much, Rukmini Priya Mataji, for reading the translation today. Thank you, Sundarana Prabhuji. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradare Kripam Mudatamaham Prapadye. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are starting a new chapter today. So this chapter is titled as Dhruva Maharaj Fight with the Yakshas. So in the previous chapter, we saw how Dhruva Maharaj, after seeing the Lord face to face in the forest, he performed severe austerities, tapasya, upon the instructions of Narada Muni, and he was victorious from the sense that he was, whatever the goal he had to get benedictions from the Lord, he achieved that goal. Along with that, he got so many blessings from the Supreme Lord. So it was actually a news spread all over the country and Uttanapada's kingdom, and everywhere, everybody knew this, and they were very astonished because going to forest and coming back is not an easy thing. So some of the residents were actually saying, Mother Suniti, that your son was gone long back. He came back by the mercy of the Lord, and he is going to protect you for a long time. So they they knew that it was not an easy thing to go to forest and come back to the kingdom alive. So generally, in those days, in the Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, the forests were not very dense, and also there were a lot of rivers and very nice fruit trees. Sages used to construct their huts in the neighborhood of rivers, and they used to live there. And also, there are very dense forests where the wild animals used to live. So there were different parts of the forest. So, and anyone who seeks enlightenment after their grahastha ashram, they used to go to vanaprastha, means they used to enter the forest in seeking the spiritual consciousness by doing Ashtanga yoga meditations, just like Bharat Maharaj did. So here also what happened, so Dhruva Maharaj's father, Uttanapada, so he, after deliberation that his son was at a suitable mature age to take over the kingdom, so he also gave the kingdom to the Dhruva Maharaj. And he left the kingdom and entered the forest. So this is a vanavasa, that's vanaprastha ashram he took for the self-realization. So this was the system followed even by the kings. So what to speak of, when I say kings, because the kings were at the utmost luxury. They had all the paraphernalias for their service, the servants, nice arrangements, everything is there. Still, they don't stay in the palace. They just leave the kingdom. So you can see the austerities the kings used to perform. So they were not ordinary kings. They were all Raja Rishis. They were sages, but they have taken the kingdom as a Kshatriya. They were doing their duties. So similarly, in this chapter, we see that. So the king Uttanapada also detached himself, and then he entered the forest. So now we are entering into this new chapter where the story continues. Maitreya Vacha. Maitreya is now saying to Vidura that Dhruva Maharaj married the daughter of Prajapati Sushumara. So her name was Brahmi. And then there were two sons born, Kalpa and Vatsara. So now, so here, when Dhruva Maharaj got married, his father was not here. His father already left to the forest. So Prabhupada is elaborating in the purport that even though it is a duty of a father to get the son married, but for Uttanapada, self-realization came first. So he understood that it is the right time for him to leave to the forest, and so he did at the right time. He didn't worry about his son getting married because he knew he is being protected by the Lord. And at very young age only, he got self-realization. So he didn't have to worry too much about the son's marriage. And so that is the reason why he even left the forest before Dhruva got married. So generally, if you see any father, mother, they desire to see their son's marriage. They desire to get their daughter married, and all those obligations they want to fulfill. It is important, but in this situation, we can understand that Uttanapada was a Rajarishi, and he took preference on the self-realization, and he entered the forest Vanavasa. So this is another sign of where Dhruv Maharaj was a great saint, and he got the blessings of the Lord. And all this is coming from his father. His father is also a great sage. He's also a great rishi. So now what happened after Dhruv Maharaj took charge? Um, he had a wife named Brahmi, and he married another daughter of Vayu. So Vayu's daughter named Ila. So he begat two sons, Utkala and a beautiful daughter, a son and a daughter. So now, if you remember when Supreme Lord appeared in front of Dhruva, so he gave benedictions that he's going to rule over a pole star, Dhruvaloka, and then he's going to rule the kingdom for 36,000 years. And at the end of he's going to rule the kingdom with the same strength. The senses will not deteriorate, meaning he'll not get into the old age. He will be fully powerful with all the energy, and he will rule the kingdom. At the end of the ruling, he will remember the Supreme Lord. He'll come back to the Supreme Lord. That was the blessings given. And also, Supreme Lord revealed a couple of revelations that what's going to happen in the future. So how his brother is going to die in the forest, and how his stepmother is also going to die in the forest fire. So now that is actually happening right now. So what happened? The Uttama, Dhruva's younger brother, who was born to Mother he went to forest. Mrugayayam. So it says the hunting excursion. So, and then on that hunting excursion, there was some unfortunate that he was killed by a powerful yaksha. So in the Himalayan mountains. So upon hearing this news, his mother also went to the forest, and she also died due to the forest fire. Tan matasya gatim gata. So here it said that the mother also attained the same destination, just like her son. So she was, in one way, we can understand she left the body. In another sense, her heart was, into her son. So we can take like both ways, like she got the same destination, her son, or she also left the body. So, and what happened after that was Dhruv Maharaj was heard of this news that Uttama was killed by a yaksha. So yakshas, this was on the Satyayuga, where people used to see demigods coming from different planetary systems. Like we have this 14 planetary systems, where we are in the Bhuloka, Bhumandala, Bhuvar, Mahar, Tapas, Janaloka, Satyaloka, right? So in the higher planetary systems, the demigods used to live. So the yakshas, they used to live in a city called Alakapuri. So in the higher planetary systems, where Kuvera is the king of the whole yakshas, he's the head over there. And Kuvera is basically the whole financial situation of this entire universe resides with Kuvera. So he's basically the god of wealth, and he's also the chief among the yakshas. So the Yakshas were protected by in his kingdom Alakapuri. So now it seems like in those days that everybody knew that Yakshas, where they live, which planet, and all that. The common man also very powerful. So here Dhruv Maharaj is also a very powerful king. So he heard this news that in the Himalayan range that Yakshas killed his brother Uttama. He became very disturbed. So Kopa Marsha Sucharpitaha. So Kopa, this word we use in Telugu also. Kopam, anger. So in Sanskrit also they say Kopa Amarsha Sucha. So vengeance, he had a vengeance, he had anger, and he had a lamentation. So Arpitaha, so like he's filled with all these three emotions, and he wanted to uh, win over the Yakshas. He wanted victory over the Yakshas in the city of Alakapuri. So immediately he got onto his chariot. He went to the city of Alakapuri and he's about to fight the Yakshas. So now Prabhupada elaborates here that so Dhruv Maharaj becomes angry, overwhelmed with grief, and envious of the enemies, was not incompatible with his position as a great devotee. So he's saying that he was a great devotee, and these emotions were is incompatible, meaning it cannot coexist with a great devotee. So these were kind of emotion that was triggered because of his brother's departure. So several occasions in Bhagavatam we can see that great devotees sometimes they get disturbed. For example, in the Dhruv Maharaj, in the Bharat Maharaj, when he appeared as a Jadu Bharat in the next life as a Brahmana's son, he acted like a dumb and deaf, and he was, he doesn't want to participate in any of the worldly aspects. His father was trying to get him married. He didn't want to actually get married. He acted like a dumb who doesn't even have any understanding of worldly situations. So then, when he was being asked one of the king's servants to carry the palanquin, and he just agreed whatever is the situation given by the Lord. And the king actually spoke so many bad words, and in that time he got disturbed a little bit, and then again his consciousness, his emotions regained, and he became completely completely unwavering. So in these worldly situations, we get devotees also, great devotees get disturbed, but the power of their devotion is such that they can regain their consciousness, and very soon they can again come back to their normal situation. So now the same thing is happening. So Prabhupada is saying that was Dhruv Maharaj here is a Kshatriya. You can imagine he's a Kshatriya. And for a Kshatriya, these qualities are not, a bad these qualities are required for him to protect the kingdom. So for a normal person, this may be, incompatible, but for Dhruv Maharaj, it was not incompatible. And and he's also saying that it is a misunderstanding that a devotee should not get angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. So Prabhupada says here that we normally think of devotees don't get angry, devotees don't become overwhelmed by lamentation. It's a misunderstanding. So what Prabhupada means by saying that is the situations can make a devotee become angry, but then that anger he should not be carried away by that anger. He should not be carried away by that anger. That anger, when he is using in the service of the Lord, it is appropriate. So it is very subtle. We have to understand situations like what great devotees like Dhruv Maharaj and all that, all of them did. So here, Dhruv Maharaj was the king, and when his brother was unceremoniously killed, it was his duty to take revenge against the Yakshas from the Himalayas. So Prabhupada justifying that the reason why Dhruva Maharaj as a king, he is, taking this position. So now, so what's happening further is an actions of fight between Yakshas and Dhruva Maharaj. So it was said that in the Himalayan range, northern direction, he went to the city full of ghostly persons who are followers of Lord Shiva. Purim Guhuyaka Sankulam. Here it said that, and then Yakshas were actually followers of Lord Shiva. They're more or less devotees of Lord Shiva. So that's what it's mentioned here. And it's also said by this indication, the Yakshas may be taken to be the Himalayan tribes like the Tibetans. So Prabhupada also says that Tibetans, they can also be said like a Himalayan tribes. So, and he continues here, Maitreya is continuing. Dadamau Sankam Brahad Bahu. So, like a Kshatriya, generally in the fighting scenario, Kshatriya, the first thing they do before the fight starts is to blow their conch shell. So, it's a sign of their valor and also it's a sign of their Kshatriya spirit. They don't attack without giving a sign of there is a war that's going to happen. They would like to challenge and then they would like to fight. It's like in these days you see that the fight happens, when their people are sleeping behind their back. All this is not Kshatriya spirit. So Kshatriya spirit is like face to face they fight, and they want to take that their whatever their skills, the fighting skills, they will use them, and then they will fight the enemies. So similarly, Dhruva Maharaj is blowing his conch shell. Very loud and sound reverberated the whole city of Alakapuri. So Alakapuri and every direction. So now another sign of the Yakshas becoming frightened. Here it's mentioned that the wives of Yakshas become very frightened, and their eyes, it was apparent they were full of anxiety. So this is a sign that how Dhruva Maharaj was very powerful. And further, the Yakshas also, they are also with the fighting spirit, they also came and with all the weapons and tried to attack Dhruva Maharaj. So, and then Dhruva Maharaj, who was a god of benediction from the Lord, that his valor will not decrease by age. So he's fully powerful, and also is also protected by the Lord. So you can imagine, like Lord gave him the benediction that you will rule over 36,000 years. So he's being protected by the Lord, and he immediately tried to attack all the Yakshas with simultaneously 3 arrows at a time. Tribis Tribihi, Aham Banais Tribis Tribihi, like he's shooting like 3 arrows at a time. So like we show in the several movies, like people shoot multiple arrows. So now here it's evidence from Shastra that person can, like Dhruva Maharaj can do this. So, and when the Yakshas understood that they were being attacked and they were in great danger and they were in very awkward position, they also started feeling that, wow, how is such a powerful king he is. And in their hearts, they were thinking, he is really a great Kshatriya. He was able to fight like this. So this is another sign of Kshatriya spirit, that even an enemy is a great warrior, and a Kshatriya will appreciate that. So, so these are the qualities as a Kshatriya, in their fighting. It's like a sport for them. So in the sport also we say that, okay, when you lose, you have to appreciate the other party which actually won. So as a sign of that appreciation, generally they shake hands and all that. So here the same spirit is applied in the Kshatriyas fighting also. So they were appreciating in their minds, and they were trying to really cope up with the spirit of Dhruv Maharaj. So now on the last verse number 10, here the example of serpent is used. Uraga. So this serpent, it said that serpent is very envious and it cannot tolerate if somebody steps on it. So similarly, the example of serpent, the Yakshas also being very intolerant of the wonderful power of Dhruv Maharaj, and they also started throwing twice as many arrows towards Dhruv Maharaj. So 6 from each of their soldiers, and thus they very valiantly exhibited their prowess. So here we can see how Dhruv Maharaj, he didn't mention that Dhruv Maharaj came with an army, maybe later on, but he is single-handedly fighting this war. So he had many celestial weapons also, and on top of it, he was being protected by the Supreme Lord. So there are many lessons that we can learn from this chapter. How Uttanapada was as a father who was duty bound and say, Raja Rishi, he when the son is on the correct age, he just gave over this kingdom. From our position, like we are just normal grahasthas, we can also think that how we can give our duties. When the time comes, we can also deliberately hand over all the properties and whatever duties we have to the sons, and we can also take the path of self-realization as a full-time thing, not like a part-time. So there are devotees who do this even now also, like when the age of 50 comes, they take vanaprastha. They travel with wife and with wife to all the holy places, temples, holy kshetras. And then when appropriate age comes, they fully dedicate themselves for the spiritual realization. So in the Kali Yuga, sannyasa is not recommended, but at least we can take the full-time dedication towards spiritual realization. So not drag the duties of grahastha for the whole life. That was the purpose of this vanaprastha basically. So I know one person who is Rompad Maharaj's disciple, Krishna Smaran Prabhu. He took at 50 years, he was actually IIT professor. At the age of 50, he took vanaprastha. So with his wife, he was fully dedicated to spiritual realization. He was traveling to all the holy places. And that way he showed example to everybody else, that we also have to have that kind of, the shift in the ashrama so that we can, it's like a silver line between duties of grahastha and transitioning us towards the leaving the body, because at the end of the day, the body has to be left, like the soul has to leave the body. This body becomes old, and then there is a transition that's going to happen. So to prepare for the transition, this vanaprastha is a very wonderful step. So even in Baltimore also, we all know Jai Gaur Sundar Prabhu, he took vanaprastha. So all these great devotees are setting examples for us to learn. So here also King Uttanapada did the same. And we can also take a lesson from many other lessons, how Dhruv Maharaj as a Kshatriya, he is very valiant in his fighting spirit, and he didn't hesitate when there was injustice done to his brother. So these yakshas killed, without of no reason. So this was an injustice, and he was going after that injustice. So these lessons we can understand from this chapter. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you so much, Sri Krishna Prabhuji. Wonderful class, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank